12 News, a historic prison sentence handed down against a Brooklyn Park man. Plus, a delicate balancing act in Golden Valley as residents raise concerns about train noise. But first, the latest on a security breach that potentially involved millions of customers who shopped inside Target stores. 12 News starts right now. Hello and thanks for joining us. I'm Alexandra Renslow.
And I'm Mike Johnson. As we went to air, Target says that massive security breach has been fixed.
However, questions remain how the breach happened and how it could impact private customer information. The breach reportedly affects customers who shopped at any Target store between November 27th and December 15th. It potentially exposed credit and debit card data of up to 40 million customers. But as you can imagine, lots of shoppers are concerned.
That just happened to me at my dentist's office.
I did. What did you do?
I did. I had to get a whole new, thankfully not a new checking account, but I had to get a new debit credit card number and everything. It was a pain.
Well, it's kind of nerve-wracking because I shop at Target quite frequently, so I've contacted my bank as a precaution, just in case. So hopefully nothing happens, and it's an unfortunate thing.
Yeah, nice holiday gift.
It's recommended to check your account for any unusual activity if you shopped and used a credit or debit card at Target over the past 2.5 weeks. A well-planned and sophisticated attack. That's how a local cybersecurity expert describes the Target security breach. I spoke with Mark Lanterman this afternoon about what comes next and how best to protect yourself.
Well, I think people will be surprised to learn that quite often bad guys will hang on to this information for months, if not a year or more, before actually using it. So a consumer should not be overconfident if he or she checks their statement today or checks their statement next month and then just assume that they have not been victimized. They need to be diligent and continue monitoring their credit card statements.
Is it just that card that you should be concerned about?
Well, no, I think just a good security practice is to monitor all of your statements, monitor all of your accounts, but certainly keep a very diligent eye on any credit card accounts that you have used at Target in the past month.
If you know that you have used your card at Target during that time period, would you just recommend calling your financial institution and requesting a new card with a new number?
I would certainly recommend contacting your credit card company and requesting a new card, a new number. Take responsibility for your own security and be proactive.
The Secret Service is the lead agency investigating this security breach.
And experts say the chances of this happening again to another retailer are pretty good. The owner of a North Metro business that specializes in point-of-sale equipment says after credit card numbers are stolen, there's not much a company can do about it.
It's obvious that the cards are stolen because you're getting flooded with orders, typically online, that are being shipped to the same address. That who do you go to try and report it or resolve it? Because you know that somebody has these cards and all you can do is just basically shut them down by denying the transactions. But you've got information that you don't know what to do with.
Nadia Elefandi says it's often too time-consuming for local police to investigate, and she adds the card industry and merchants need to take security more seriously or be penalized when breaches like this happen. In other news, a Ramsey County judge sentenced a Brooklyn Park man today to 36 years in prison for his role in a large sex trafficking ring. It's the longest sentence for sex trafficking in state history. According to prosecutors, Antonio Washington Davis and members of his family exploited girls for sex. They say the sex trafficking ring was in operation for nearly 2 years.
There's some good news on the local job front. A company founded in Canada, Price Industries, plans to build a new research and development facility in Maple Grove. Price makes customized heating and cooling products. The move to Maple Grove is expected to create 40 jobs with an average pay of about $80,000. Price studied locations across the country. It chose Maple Grove, citing the region's availability of engineering and technical workers.
Meanwhile, Minnesota's unemployment rate fell once again, according to new job figures released today. The state's jobless rate fell to 4.6% in November, and that's among the lowest in the country. Compare that to the U.S. unemployment rate, which is 7%. The area with the most job gains is the information sector. The only two sectors to lose jobs over the past year, government and manufacturing. Well, many retailers hire more temporary workers during the busy holiday shopping season.
But it's not just during the holidays that companies hire temporary workers. At least one local DFL lawmaker says too many companies are doing that year-round as a cost-saving measure, making it difficult for those temps to support themselves. Delane Cleveland joins us now with more. Delane?
Yeah, Mike and Alex, Representative Ryan Winkler of Golden Valley chairs the Select Committee on Living Wage Jobs. He wants to see what the state legislature can do to get companies to hire more permanent workers rather than getting them through temp agencies.
Talk about how it's not just Christmas that's driving temp jobs, it's the whole economy and the whole direction that employers are going in to try to get rid of a long-term employment relationship with people and focus more on just bringing in people as they're needed and getting rid of them without having to deal with them as employees.
Winkler says that the problem with that business practice is it puts those temporary workers in a position where they have low wages, unstable hours, and an inability to access unemployment insurance. Winkler and other state lawmakers listened to testimony at the state capitol today from a number of experts on the subject. Minnesota hit a peak of 78,000 temp workers this past August, and people testifying today say that this has become the new normal.
So employers are really avoiding paying the unemployment tax and the unemployment claims, and they just put it on the temp industry.
Now, as to what the state legislature can do to change that practice remains to be seen. Representative Winkler says his committee will come back to the legislature with a full report. Mike and Alex?
All right, thank you, Delane. Well, you may want to check your heating bill. A recent cold snap likely did no favors to your budget.
According to CenterPoint Energy, a customer's December bill compared to the previous month could be twice as high. CenterPoint points towards higher consumption of natural gas. Temperatures through the first half of December have been 30% colder than average. Well, coming up, Golden Valley residents blow the whistle on train noise in their neighborhood.
Then later in sports, what has helped the Providence Academy boys basketball team get off to a strong start this winter?
But first, it's a look at your AccuWeather forecast. Residents in Golden Valley say the trains that roll through their neighborhood are just too loud.
Well, this month, they petitioned the city council to do something about it, and 12 News reporter Shannon Slatton explains what happens next.
There are two track crossings here.
Carolyn Papke has lived in a corner unit at Laurel Hill East for 6 years.
They'll pause for several minutes and then they'll reverse back again.
She says the train traffic seemed to be getting worse.
Disturbing when you're trying to sleep.
So she started a petition with fellow condo owners for the city to do something about the train noise.
Incessant loud whistle blowing that goes on for 30 seconds in 5 long blasts. Sometimes it seems like there's a 5-year-old who just got that whistle for Christmas running the train.
Another condo owner, Roger Boardnam, agrees that the train traffic didn't bother him when he first moved in, but now believes something more can be done.
We're only looking for some reasonable way to coexist.
This informal petition might be coming at just the right time, as a nearby property recently got the green light for a residential development.
We're going to be looking at a lot of options.
A new apartment complex called the Xenia will bring more people and traffic to the neighborhood.
Arms here, you've already got the arms here, but you're also talking over there, we've got some arms, but there's multiple crossings.
Creating a quiet zone would require mandatory crossing upgrades, which could get expensive.
My hope is that we don't have to look at it from a cost perspective because it's pretty pricey. I mean, we're talking about $250,000 per crossing, and we're looking at 2 different sections here, so you're easily talking about $500,000. And it could be more than that.
The first step is talking with Canadian Pacific and studying the train traffic to see what can be done.
As we are expecting to have more density in the whole metro area, we hope to work as a partnership, not in an adversarial relationship, but more in a partnership, because these are issues that are going to be coming up more and more often.
In Golden Valley, Shannon Slatton, 12 News.
Canadian Pacific says the number of trains passing through the area has not changed in recent years. Well, still ahead, we head to Maranatha Christian Academy to meet this week's standout student.
But first in sports, Terry Tuma returns. He kicks off his weekly ice fishing tips next with John Jacobson in sports. We'll be right back.
You know, I have a lot of respect for wrestlers. I think it's one of the more difficult sports. Yeah, it is. And this is a pretty good squad.
It is, yeah, and they've got some big tournaments coming up, which we're going to talk about today. There's a rich tradition of wrestling at Totino-Grace High School. The Eagles fell off a little bit for a few years, but they're back on top now. The Eagles, who placed 7th in the state Class AA team tournament last season, are ranked 2nd in the state poll this year behind Foley. They've wrestled mostly tournaments so far this season, including a 4th place finish in a 28-team event in Council Bluffs, Iowa. It's a team with a lot of promise.
I think it's going good. We have some injuries to work through, but we're going to get through those, and we're going to be a strong team at the end of the year especially, and I'm excited.
Like I said, it's young, but they're hardworking, so it's a good group. I think it's going to be has a lot of potential.
The Eagles have 6 wrestlers ranked in the top 10 in their weight class, including 195-pounder Lance Bennick, who is not only #1 in Minnesota, but in the national rankings also. Grace is preparing for 2 big tournaments in Rochester, starting with this weekend's Minnesota Christmas tournament.
That's always one of the toughest tournaments of the year in our schedule, and we're using it more as like a getting ready tournament for the Clash, which is the weekend after that, that'll be the tough one. But the Christmas tournament will be tough, and a lot of good guys there and a lot of good matches.
I think they're just both great tournaments for us, and we just want to go out there and wrestle the best wrestlers we can get on the mat with.
After holiday tournament action, Totino-Grace wrestles at Cooper January 10th. The Providence Academy boys basketball team has a new head coach this season, and it's so far so good. The Lions have won 6 of their first 8 games. Lamar Dietert is the new head man for Providence. Dietert has coached at the college and high school level, but has been out of coaching since 2008. Providence has never had a winning record in basketball, so Dietert's main focus right now is getting the boys to believe they can compete and win every night.
It's that whole change in culture that, you know, there's some other higher expectations we put on the kids, and we have a very high level of demand from my background, from Coach McDonald's background, playing in Europe and the U. So we're demanding a little bit more accountability from them.
When he came in, we weren't very positive about basketball, and now we just seem to push away all the negative thoughts about it, and we want to win as he does.
Providence has a home game on Thursday night, and they'll play in the Fair Bowl tournament the weekend after Christmas. After a 1-4 start, Cooper's boys hockey team looked to get back in the win column against the Minneapolis Novas. Scoreless in the second period of this one, and Cooper's Greg Nightingale takes the return pass on a give and go and zips it under the crossbar and in for a 1-0 Hawks lead. Early in the second, the pass back to the point, and Justin Rainier's shot sneaks through traffic and in. It's 2-0 Cooper. They add another to go ahead 3-0. But watch this one coming up. Bobby Sjogren's shot goes off the mask of goalie Keegan Hugem, bounces off the top of the net and falls in. The Novas are within 3-1. Minneapolis strikes again. Max Jomey's pass across the goal mouth deflects in. The Novas storm back and they tie at 3-3 after 2 periods. Minneapolis gets 2 more in the third before Cooper's Drew Potter roofs the shot from a tough angle with 38 seconds left. But Cooper falls short in a 5-4 loss. Winter got an early start here in the upper Midwest, which is great if you love the outdoors. Here's a guy who does. Today, Terry Tuma joins us for the first of his weekly tips on ice fishing that will air over the next 2.5 months. Today, Terry talks about fish houses.
Hi, this is Taco Terry Tuma. I'm bringing another series of ice fishing tips right here on Channel 12. Ice fishing is growing, as we all know. It's literally unbelievable what's all taking place, talking to resorters, to manufacturers, retail stores, and so forth. But let's start today with selecting a fish house. If you're looking at purchasing a fish house, buy one that's going to meet your needs only. And the reason I talk about this, even at the seminars and so forth, is that you see, and I was just out ice fishing, and I just seen people or an individual pulling a great big fish house, one that looked like it was a 3-man. He was pulling it all alone, then trying to load it alone. So if you fish alone, get a one-manner. If you fish with a couple people, then get a two-manner. So here again, trying to match, and it's the weight, it's pulling it on the ice, it's loading it up in your vehicle, especially with the higher four-wheel drives and so forth. So it does become an issue. It can be, try to take a lot of fun out of fishing, especially if you're walking out and you have to pull it for 4 or 5 blocks. It does become a weight issue at that time. And you want to enjoy ice fishing. Be sure to tune in next week for another tip right here.
Thanks, Terry. We'll see you next Thursday again and all winter.
Terry's back.
Yeah.
Thanks, John. Still ahead, a Brooklyn Park standout student who lets his actions do the talking.
We'll be right back.
The reindeer are keeping an eye on you from the front yard of a home in Brooklyn Park. In today's Holiday Lights Showcase, we featured this home in the 6200 block of Sumter Avenue. If you know of an outstanding light display in your neighborhood, give us a call or send us an email here at 12 News. It's 12.tv. His serious and steadfast nature makes him a success in the classroom.
But it's his passion for helping others that drives him toward his career goal. Here's Renee Bonneau with this week's Standout Student.
So I did my project on the price of NFL stadiums and if they're economically efficient or not.
17-year-old Abib Ajibola is all business in class.
This is where Super Bowl 45 was held.
He has to be. In addition to this college and schools economics course,
they create jobs.
He's taking on at least 2 other college courses this semester.
Secondly,
his teachers say he has a genuine interest in learning as much as he can.
He's got a very inquisitive mind, so he wants to know things, and he's not afraid to ask. And he's not afraid to ask questions that other kids might say, well, I'm afraid to ask that because I might sound stupid. He just wants to know.
He wants to do really well, and he's pretty, he's self-motivated. You never have to chase him down for homework or anything like that.
The bill is ratified.
Abib says everything that he does in and out of class is to answer a higher calling. He says he was born to help others.
I was born premature, 4 months premature. I weighed 1 pound 3 ounces, and the doctors I had gave me around a less than 5% chance of living, and by God's grace, I made it out of it, and I'm fine. There's the threat of relocation.
He hopes to pursue a career that will combine his passion for helping others with his love for learning, especially science.
With chemical engineering, I can decide to either go in the engineering field, like biotechnology, like working like for a company like Medtronic, or going into more into the medical field.
His teachers say no matter what career he chooses, Abib will do well. In Brooklyn Park, Renee Bonneau, 12 News.
Abib is hoping to go to the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign next fall. Go get him.
Go get him is
exactly.
right.
That's it for now. Thanks for joining us, everyone.
We'll see you back here tomorrow. Community Corner is coming up next.